Upon further review, the ruling on the field stands. This is the greatest sports podcast, First and Goat.
All right, welcome back, beautiful people, to our humble podcast, First and Goat. Except if you're a Pippin hater, I told you, stay away. But seriously, welcome back to our podcast on this Thursday, June 8th. We got a lot to cover. And it's getting late, so let's just dive into our show now. First thing we want to touch on is the fight. I think we got a chance to. I watched it for the first time, Loma versus Haney. Luis, that was the second time. Then I forgot. This is the first, second time. Second time. All right, so I'm newbie, so I'll go last. So, Luis, you were more excited about this fight, so I want to hear your take on it. What did
Sure.
you score this thing, or what do you think?
Yeah, I scored it. So when I watched it the first time, I scored it live, and as much as I try to say it, not to listen to the commentators and to the crowd, when you're watching it live and obviously you have no idea what's going to happen, I feel like that does influence a little bit, especially like on the swing rounds. So the second time I watched it, I was just tuning into what was happening, the action that was happening in the ring. And I felt like I scored it not that much different, but just to set the stage real quick before we go like round by round, the reason we ended up watching this fight, it was a big fight. And it was a very close fight. And I think that's what makes boxing really exciting, because everybody will score it differently. Everybody's looking for different things. Even the judges that scored it that night, two guys scored it the same and one was way different. But there was a lot of outrage saying in the boxing community that it was a robbery. And the last thing I wanted to say before we go into the rounds, I wanted to get your feedback on this, Sal, because it went over my head. Or maybe I was just dismissing it because I don't understand it. Paul Magli, I can never say his fucking name. Magliani. Yeah, so he used to be a boxer. Now he does a lot of commentary. Magliani. He was losing his mind. He thought that Lomachenko had won. And his point was that I guess while the fight was live, while it was going, to begin the fight, Haney was the favorite in the betting. And it was kind of like what you were saying, like once people start betting a certain way, then the odds could change depending on how the bets are coming in. So then I don't know, and that's probably important, but halfway through the fight, maybe, Paulie was saying that then it switched overwhelmingly to Lomachenko being the favorite. I don't know. He made a big deal out of that, but I just dismissed it because I'm like, that's just people watching it, thinking that he's winning. I guess his point was like everybody that was watching it, it was even influencing the betting, the live betting. But I didn't understand it too much, to be honest. I just wanted to see your feedback on that.
Can I add something really quick to that before?
Yeah.
Our bookie expert. I want to touch on what you said, Luis, about the commentators, changing your perception of the fight. And I noticed that now when I was watching it for the second time, I turned them off because sometimes it's almost obvious who they're going for. And that does make you think that they are correct. But that's not the way I saw it. When I was watching it, I was trying to be objective and I had my work computer, so I didn't have the sound that much off. But they were making a big deal about anything that one of the boxers was doing and dismissing all the good stuff that the other boxer was doing. So the fact that people were betting, they could have been influenced by the commentator. I don't even know if I trust ConcuBox numbers, to be honest, because I know when we're watching it live or even, replays, we have different angles. We don't have this. That's why judges, have different scores as well, because it's all different angles. It looks like it hit him. It looks like he blocked it.
Right.
It's all different. Right. But I think that all that stuff persuades people into thinking that a certain fighter's winning when it's all sometimes, that's who the commentators or whatever, that's who they want to root for.
I had no idea what Paulie had said. I'm trying to look up right now.
It was on his Instagram. And it was
Okay, so he had nothing part of the fight, right?
Right.
So I mean,
Malinaji, Paulie Malinaji, right? He did-
Yeah, Polly.
so what do you say was a favorite? Just because we've had before, should I go round and my bad, I forgot we're going round. That's why I just kind of tossed it to you, your thoughts. But real quick, you mentioned that. So again, real quick, Haney was favorite and halfway through the fight, Loma was becoming the favorite, or
Yes, correct.
so that's what happens. I mean, I guess people they start betting, so that's kind of influence that they said. So the more money comes, like starts coming in towards Loma, then he becomes a favorite. You know, it's just kind of just cut your losses. So whoever the bookies cut the losses. So that's happened to me, like especially in the later rounds or late in the game. Once your favorite is favorite, depending, I don't know what the numbers were.
Yeah, I don't remember.
You know, it's kind of hard to not get it right at that point, especially in the fight. Like I said, most of the boxing fights of UFC is like UFC fight, it's late in the round and they certain fight unless it's knockout. I like it could be close. It could be he could have been a favorite by like minus 100 or minus 150 or something like that. Now he was like late in the round and he was favored by like minus 600, 500 or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So maybe, but I gotta. So
Yeah, and I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but I think it was something like that. Like he was favored, probably like minus 150 or something like that, 110. I don't remember off the top of my head.
This is the first one. I'm not looking at it. Normally I agree with Paulie. I said he was CB fighter. But him commentating, analyzing fights, like I think he's spot on.
Yeah.
But whatever, I'm sure people fucking hate him for calling it a robbery or you can't make everybody happy. You go against a favorite fighter and people start fucking blasting on social media. So who cares? But let's move on. Let's see first round. Who's up first? I want to go last because I just watched the fight. I should go first or last because I just watched the fight.
No, go for it, man. Just it's fresh in your mind.
Okay, fine. The first round, I gave it to Loma. I had put he was closing the distance, and my notes are everywhere. Like I was trying to hurry up. But I thought he controlled the fight pretty good. Haney was trying to figure him out. Nothing spectacular happened in that round that I can remember, but I gave it to Loma.
Okay. So when I rewatched round one, and not to confuse myself here, I gave it to Haney. The note that I put was that they both landed a total of 6 punches. So round one is a very feel-out round, right? So those are the tough. The beginning rounds on a close fight are always tough, because they can't be a throwaway. But the note that I put for myself is they both landed a total of 6 punches throughout the whole round. Loma, I think what swayed me the first time was that he had a small flurry at the end of the round. So that I could see why people would give that round to him, like if he stole it, in air quotes. But rewatching it, I just felt like Haney just landed the harder punches to the body, kind of like what Adan was saying, and that was dismissed. I mean, these were clean, hard body shots, and he was landing them and there were hard punches. So I gave the first one to Haney, round one.
Nice. I gave it to Loma. I gave it, and the word that I had in here was that he was more aggressive. That was a really I circled like 3 rounds, and we go through them one by one. I'll tell you, 3 rounds that I thought were like they could have gone either way. It was really difficult to score them. Round one was one of them. I gave it to him because I felt he was the one following Haney, and like you said, Haney was like trying to figure him out. When you think about their game plan, to me it's always like who executed their game plan better. And to me, that what convinces me who won which round. Like if this person's goal is to attack and this other person is to counter, who actually performed their game plan better. And I thought that for round one, Loma did a better job of executing his game plan. Just really quick, Canelo, Triple G, and I know first fight, it's, controversial as well. It ended in a tie. But that's when I go back and I watch it, that's the reason that I gave Canelo some of the fights as well. His whole thing was countering, and Triple G was, the jab and attacking. And I just felt in some rounds, Canelo did a better job of executing his game plan that we all knew he was going to do than Triple G. Anyway.
No, I love that. Real quick, I love that point. That's a really, good. And I'm not like I full disclosure. The first time I saw it, I gave it to Loma, but I think I was a little biased because Loma's a slow starter, and I feel like I was just giving him too much credit as a fan that he started what you said, Adam, that he was kind of the one that was more of the aggressor, maybe, But I feel like I dismissed a lot of what Haney was doing good. And it was 6 punches is not a lot, in 3 minutes, you know what I mean? Yeah. And again, I guess, just I leaned on that Haney landed the harder punches. With so little punches, how are you going to score it? They both landed pretty much the same amount of punches, it's just how they landed it. So I went with the guy that landed the harder punches. So
yeah, real quick, I said I noticed that too. That he did land like the same amount of punches, but I think he closed the distance. I think he was more aggressive. That's why I personally picked round one. So, and said that, let's go to round two. Two, I scored it for Haney.
Okay.
Haney, I think his punches were cleaner. He had some good counters. And I think Lona I think he was still closing the distance, but I like what I saw from Haney in his response to the first round. So I give it a 10. I give it 10 to Haney. Luis, what do you have?
I gave it to Haney. Same thing. It's just like, just to repeat myself, I felt like he landed the harder punches again. I like that Loma was, it wasn't like he was just getting hit clean. He was countering, But again, I think the first time I watched it, I gave that round to Loma. This time I gave it to Haney. And again, it was because of a small flurry that Loma had again in the round. And I don't want to dismiss it. I want to say when I say small flurry, like it doesn't, like he just didn't do anything, But it was just, it was an effective flurry. But I felt like overall, the 3-minute round, like Haney just landed the harder punches again. So Haney.
We're all in agreement on this one. I give it to Haney as well. I thought he was the most efficient. That's the word that I have in here. He was efficient with his counter, and I think that that counter, to the body or the uppercut, that was a key punch for him throughout the fight.
Cool. So let's move on to this third one since we're on agreement. The third one, and I'm trying to read my notes. The third one I give to Loma. 10 to Loma, and I'm trying to fucking let me read what I wrote. So I can't tell you exactly why. Luis, okay. Can I figure out? You want to tell me your score?
Sure. Yeah, I gave it to Loma too. The notes I put in there, I put that his left, he was landing his left hand very clean on throughout that round on Haney. I thought it was a very close round. Now, it doesn't matter. He's still like one guy gets a 10, one gets a 9. But I thought it was a very close round, even though I gave it to Loma. Haney continued kind of going back to what Adam was saying. Like, I think his game plan was to keep landing body shots, wearing him down, At least that was his game plan going in there. And Haney continued to land the body shots. But in that round, Loma landed cleaner shots with his left hand, which is the note. So I gave it to Loma.
I gave it to Loma as well. So my note is clear connections. I think, Sal, I don't know if you can read your note, but I agree with Luis that they just landed more. They were cleaner and clear connections.
Yes.
We'll get back to that. I don't know what I was doing. So yeah, okay. So we all gave Loma, right?
Yes.
Yes.
The only question is first round. So fourth round, moving on to the fourth round. Again, this one I skipped notes on this one. But I gave it to Loma as well.
Okay.
Luis?
All right. So the round 4 was tough for me when I was rewatching it. So I did something a little bit different this time. I fucked up because I put notes and I don't know who I gave it to, but I'm pretty sure I gave it to Haney round 4 based off my notes. I was scoring it through an app and then putting notes on the side, but what I ended up doing, guys, I ended up breaking up by minutes because it was such a close round. So it was just for my way of like trying to analyze the fight. So I put the first minute, Loma was landing more. Like the first 60 seconds of that round, Loma was landing more. Then I felt like the middle round, it was pretty even back and forth between Haney and Loma. Like Loma didn't what's the word, like take advantage that he started off that round so hard. Then the last minute, Haney, to me, finished that round a lot stronger, landing the harder shots to the body, but then he also was jabbing and countering Loma. So it's kind of stupid because I'm like, okay, first minute to Loma, the middle was even, and then the third was Haney. So who the fuck gets it, you know? But I just felt like Haney did more in that last minute than Loma did in the first. So I gave it to Haney, round 4. Close round.
I gave it to Haney as well, and my note is stronger punches, and I think we're talking about kind of the same thing you were saying, Luis. His counter to the body, even some to the head. They were moving Loma, and that to me that's what gave him the round. I know the commentators were like, "Oh, he's blocking all those punches and blah blah blah." It's like he's moving him. I don't care if he's blocking it or not. Those body punches were getting there, and the ones to the head, they were moving Loma back. So I gave it to Haney.
Okay, cool. All right, move on to the 5th round. I scored the 5th round to Haney. This one, I think, well, actually, like 6 and 7 were the little close rounds for me. But 5th, I don't know, but I give that one to Haney.
Yeah. Just repeating myself, I gave it to Haney. I broke it down by each minute. The first half, the first minute, Haney. Oh no, I'm lying. The first minute and a half was Haney, and then again, I felt like Loma had a flurry, like an effective flurry, you know. But then Haney finished that round stronger to me. So I gave it round 5 to Haney.
This is one of the 3 rounds that I thought was really difficult to score for the same reason that you guys were saying. I gave it to Haney. I thought kind of like you, Luis. So my word here was that he flipped it. I thought that in the beginning, Loma was doing a good job of countering Haney's jab, and when Haney was trying to go to the body at the beginning, like I didn't cut it into like the minutes, but in the round, Haney flipped it on him, and he was the one that was doing it, and he was doing it better. He flipped the countering. So I gave it to Haney.
Cool. All right, so we're on agreement on Haney. Let's go to 6th round. We'll get to the fight. Again, I wrote some notes. I think it was for the next round, but I'm pretty sure it's for the 7th round. I give that one to Loma.
Okay.
So
Round 6.
6th round. Okay.
Yeah, Luis, would you?
Yeah, I gave it to Haney. You know, that was, again, I mean, I'm just repeating myself, you know. First minute, I feel like Haney was winning the first minute of that. The second minute, I felt like Loma took control again. Like the story to me of the fight was Haney would land the harder body shots, and then Loma would land more combinations. You know, I keep saying flurries, but it was like where he would hit him with his double left, and he had like more flurries. But I felt like the last minute was very even. And I just kept notating that Haney was landing the harder body shots. Now, why should that count more? You know what I mean? Than what Loma was doing in that round. And that's just how I was scoring it. Like he was landing very clean throughout the whole fight. Loma was not able to get rid of that body shot. Now he was tagging him back. So Haney was landing these body shots, knowing that Loma was gonna basically counter him, right? But Loma was taking that hit too. But I still felt like Haney's shots were harder. And the last note I put on there, one thing that that popped up was that Loma usually lands about, I think 40. He's a pretty effective fighter, you know. He lands about 40% of his power shots. So far through that fight, he was down to 27%, just meaning to me that Haney was doing a lot of things right. You know what I mean? Like to make him miss, to make him not be as effective as he usually is. Like Loma's not he's not gonna unload a bunch of of punches, right? He's very efficient. And just the fact that through 6 rounds he was only landing 20% of his body shots just told me that Haney was doing a lot of good things defensively.
You got
Everything that Luis said is the exact same thing why I gave it to Haney. I also noticed that 22% or whatever was his average through 6 rounds. That's not Loma. And so he was throwing a lot of punches. He was throwing more than Haney, but he wasn't connecting. Even in that round 6, I think Haney probably like double him in the actual shots that landed. It looks nice when you're aggressive, but I noticed that Haney was again connecting the stronger punches and more.
Yeah, so man, I know we do round by round. I should have fucking ran my notes myself. I thought we were doing for a score. So okay, cool. So we're going into round number 7, right? Second half of the fight.
Yeah.
I scored that one to Haney. Am I doing this right now? Because I think the last couple rounds we've been going contradicting each other. Luis, what do you got for number 7?
Fuck, man, this is where I fucked up. My notes are terrible. On this one.
I'm pretty sure that 7th round was pretty close.
I think the 7th round I just put very even round. I think I gave it to Haney. And it was weird because my notes say that the first minute Loma was landing the harder shots. The second minute I felt like it was pretty even. Haney was landing more body shots that second minute, and then he was getting tagged moving back. So it just makes it worse when you're moving back and then you're getting popped, Haney was getting tagged moving back, and then Loma at the end of that round had a great left hook, but they had an exchange. Like Loma landed the hook and Haney landed too. It was a very even round. So according to my notes, I'm all over the place, but I'm pretty sure I gave it to Haney.
So this one I gave it to Loma.
And you gave it to Haney, Sal?
Sal gave it to Haney, yeah.
And you gave it to Loma?
Yeah. But I think that was it came out either way. I think at one point I wanted to score 10-10. I didn't.
7th was tough for me.
I'm gonna put a little circle on this one. I think this one could have gone either way. No dispute in that one thing. But
it was low quality, the video that we were watching, but I felt that Loma landed the clear shots, and that's why I gave it to him.
I made that comment about that. It's not funny. I kind of want to see because I was he doing that. Luis, you mentioned that or Adan, right? You turn off the commentating.
I did.
Yeah.
I was gonna do that, but the quality wasn't too great.
I gotcha.
So I'm relying a little bit on
I get it.
the bad noise, but I should have done that. So I'm sorry, Dan, but go ahead, finish up.
I think you're up next, round 8. So
For round 8.
Okay, I thought you were going to say more things. So just real quick, Adan, are you keeping score of all our scores?
I am. I'm keeping everybody's.
So let's go halfway through the fight right now. This before I know we're at 7 already. But there's 6 rounds, or let's see what's the 7. Where do you guys?
Okay, so Sal, right now I know it's 7th round. We probably should have done it at the 6th round. You're right, but you have it 4 rounds to 3 for Loma.
Shit.
Luis, you have it 6 rounds to 1 for Haney.
So that's not right. You know what I mean? So
you're worse than that referee that everybody's talking about.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, I think where I fucked up was round 7 and 8.
Well, we're not even 8 right now. This is just we're not even.
Oh, I mean 6 and 7.
I would say 6 and 7. Those 2 were close for me.
They were very close.
But I have it 6-1
to.
Right now you have it 6-1 to Haney.
I only gave round 3 to
Gave
Loma.
round 3 to Loma, yeah. And Sal's 4-3 to Loma, and I have it 4-3 to Haney.
Okay. Well, we'll continue. I'm not gonna. Don't let my stupidity take it. But that's not incorrect. It's just gonna get worse, actually.
All right, round 8. Again, and I apologize to everybody. I think we're going round by round. Should have taken better notes, but the 8th round I scored is for Loma. I think he was a little bit more aggressive. He was pushing back. If I remember, he was pushing Haney back a little bit more, but I said that's my score 10-2. Luis, what do you got?
For which one? Round 8?
Yeah, round 8.
Okay, so do we mind? Can we go to a down real quick? Let me see if I could pull up my scorecard here.
Yeah,
Because
go for
now
it.
I'm
Oh, you're just
concerned here.
going on your nose thinking, yeah, I got you. So
Sorry, my bad.
round 8, I scored it for Haney.
Okay.
In my
There we go.
note, which actually I don't know if my note makes sense to be honest, but I have it as that he was busier, that Haney was busier in that round. But anyway, that's a note that I have. But thinking back, I think Loma was pretty much busier, throwing more punches in almost every round. But that's just the way it seemed to me.
All right. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys can't see me though, right?
Yeah, we could see you.
Oh shit. Okay. All right. Why didn't we do this shit earlier?
Picking his nose and shit. Like,
Yeah, right. So all right. So how do you call it? So the scorecard is correct so far. Actually, the one I fucked up was round 7. I gave that one to Loma. But that was a very, very even round. Like that's one that I circled. So round 7. So I guess what is that? 5-2, right?
Yes.
And then round 8, I gave it to Loma. First minute, Loma had more combinations. Second minute, Haney went back to landing clean body shots, but Loma was countering I was mentioning like he hadn't figured it out, but he was getting hit in the body. He didn't know how to stop that, but he was tagging him every time, countering him. And then the third minute, Haney was jabbing Loma. Oh, third minute, Haney was jabbing and Loma was countering. It was a very close. That was a back and forth. That was just a high quality round for both of them. That's just two like excellent boxers, right? Trying not to give an inch. But so round 7 and 8, I gave to Loma.
Gotcha. Make the correction. Okay, round 9.
Thank you. Round 9.
You already did, okay. So 9, notes. I gave it to Haney. No, it wasn't a pity round. Definitely wasn't a pity round. I think he was countering. I can't remember. I think he was countering. Connections, fist punches. I don't know if he hurt. Did he hurt Loma in that round? I can't remember. Well, I believe it. But anyway, I give Haney. We'll go back.
Gotcha.
Go back to it.
So round 9, how do you call it? I don't know. I feel like very Stephen A. Smith. I just put Haney round next round, guys. Like that's like I didn't even. There's a Haney round. I don't even discuss it.
Okay, well, I had to put it. To be fair, I'm not going to pick because I don't got much. I just try to go with my memory. But I did give it Haney. And
I gave it to
Okay,
Haney
good.
as well. Yeah, I think we all agree on this one. Gave it to Haney, and my word was counter. So Sal, what you said, that's what I saw too.
All right, cool. So I remember my brain's not too bad. Cool. Let's go and move on to what do you consider the championship?
Championship rounds.
Okay, cool. Because some people say
Championship
11
rounds.
goals, right? That's the status goal. It's a championship round. I think Loma turned it up right there. He was aggressive. He was pushing this guy back. It was the Loma of old that we recently seen. So yeah, I scored it for Loma. 10-9. Luis?
10, same kind of. There's no discussion. He stunned Haney early. He tagged him really good to start the round, and then he just dominated the whole round. That was round 10. That was a Loma round.
Round 10 was a Loma round.
Okay, let's move on. You want to add more to that one? Pretty quick.
Yeah,
All right,
you guys are covering the same thing I saw on that round. He was countering the counter.
11. I think it was a continuation of round 10. He was aggressive, putting the pressure on it. I scored that one for Loma as well.
So this is, I think, where it gets conflicting for people. Not the round, but you got to remember, round 10, Loma wins that round, right? The crowd's pro Loma, like the crowd's going crazy, right? For anything Loma does. Round 11, round 11. So this is the championship rounds, right? Championship rounds towards the end of the fight, which a lot of people are seeing it as a close fight. That was Lomachenko's best round of the whole fight. Best fucking round. Dominated the whole 3 minutes. Hurt Haney. Landed the cleaner shots. All Loma. Dominant round. The problem with that, guys, is, and it's kind of annoying. It's what that asshole said on the commentary. I think Max Kellerman, but he's right. Round 11, even though it's 10-9 to Loma, it counts as the same as round 1 that Haney got 10-9. You know what I mean? You don't get extra points for winning round 11. It doesn't feel that way when you're watching the fight live towards the end, the way the fight was unfolding. But at the end of the day, it's just a 10-9 round, you know. But it was dominating by that was the most dominating round. I don't even think Haney had, like, even though I gave Haney round 9 because he won that one, he didn't have a dominant round like Loma had at round 11. So
Keyword dominant. That's the same thing I put. That was all Loma. And maybe, Luis, maybe the betting didn't start until like round 10. And then they saw round 11. And it was so close there. Like maybe it wasn't in the middle of the fight.
you're right. I gotta pull up Paulie's thing. He was losing his shit though, but it was right after the fight, so
Oh yeah,
emotions are high.
okay, so before we do round 12, can we just go ahead and recap of where we're at? Because I think
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, let's recap.
Come on.
So let's
Say no
see.
to you.
Let me count.
Can't say no to you.
So Sal, you got 7 for Loma, which well, that doesn't sound right. Yeah, you got 7 for Loma, and you got 4 for Haney.
Haney.
So you already got. Damn, I thought it was gonna be more intense. But
7 for 4. Okay, 7 for Loma, 4 for Haney.
and then Luis, you got it 6-5 for Haney. Woo!
Do you see that? You see how? So, go
Yeah.
ahead, and then I won't cut you off.
And I got it 6-5 for Haney.
Right. So, okay. Well,
You guys are the two full faces. All right, having said that, let's dive into the last round. Me, personally, again, I have it a 3-peat on the final 3 rounds. Loma continued the pressure. Haney didn't show me anything to win that round. I had the last round for Haney. I mean, for Loma, I'm sorry, Loma.
For Loma. Okay. So that's interesting, man. And you just watched it like literally right before we got on. So it's fresh in your head, right? So that's really, really interesting because so round 12, like Adan said, for me, it was 6-5. That's a tight, to me, it's a tight fight, right? When I watched it the first time, I think I had Haney behind originally. I had it flip-flopped, you know what I mean? And 6-5 Loma, right? But anyway, rewatching it, 6-5 Haney. And when I was watching it live though, guys, I was messaging you guys and I said, really, what I was thinking was whoever wins, because this fight's so fucked with the swing rounds and the first round being a feel out round. And I'm like, whoever wins this fucking 12th round, you know what I mean? Like, I'm basically contradicting myself, right? I'm saying like, hey, 1 round, you don't get extra points for it, right? But I'm like, whoever wins this fucking round, I think it's such a tight fight. That's going to be the winner of the fight, you know? Even though my scorecards didn't really add up to that. Like, even in the first time I watched it, it was a draw. But I felt like they were going to give it to Haney. Anyway, so rewatching that, man, I gave it to Haney. I put no notes. I just put Haney round. Lomachenko kind of did an Oscar. Not as bad. He wasn't as belligerent as Oscar De La Hoya and ran away. He didn't run away. All I mean is, like, I think even Lomachenko admitted that he thought he was winning the fight and he didn't press as much as round 12, which is crazy. I think he was just out of gas. He's a warrior. He's never going to admit that 11 rounds of fucking body shots finally wore him down, you know? And I think he gave it all he had in round 11. I really do.
He didn't show that he got one down 10-11.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think he gave everything. He put everything he had in round 11 because round 12, man, if fucking Lomachenko would have come out, you know what I mean? And won round 12, I don't know what would have happened. I don't know if it would have been a draw. Actually, no. No, it would have been a fucking draw because two judges gave it 115, 113. It's a 1 round difference to Haney. So I gave it to Haney. That's 115, 113, you know, win for Haney. it was a phenomenal fight. It was close as hell.
Yeah, and then you watched it recently. You just watched it right now, right? So you're fresh in your mind.
Yes.
What did you took notes? You're the deciding factor.
I was doing one word notes. So it could have been a tie, Luis. We just don't know how they scored the 12th round. You know, like maybe they did. Some of them did give it to Loma, and they already.
So that's
Did you see the
not that it
scorecards?
matters. All three scorecards, all three judges gave round 12 to Haney.
Okay, then you're right. It would have. It wouldn't have.
And the guys that were scoring the fight, yeah, all three of them gave it to Haney. Round 12.
Cool. I didn't know. So you're right. It would have been a tie. So I actually had to watch that round twice today. So the first time I watched it, I gave it to Loma. I thought again he was busier and but there was I was trying to get into a meeting and I was telling you, Luis, like I was setting a chat, trying to like get things organized of what we were going to talk about. And then I felt like I don't think I really paid that much attention to the round. I think I was just going a lot by just like the continuations. Like I just expected Loma to, keep it going. So I watched it again right before we jumped on this. I was like, I just need to look at round 12 again. And I looked at it again, and now it seemed to me that Haney won it clearly. The second time that I saw it, I'm like, he's just landing the clearer punches and he's being more efficient. I have no idea if all three of us watch it one more time, if we would change our minds, but I did. I changed my mind the same day, watched the same round, and I was like, man, what the fuck did I see the first time? Because the first time I was like, Loma won, then I saw it again, and I'm like, he's not hitting anything.
And I know what it is.
You, the one in the front seat, child.
And I'll tell you what it is, guys. I'll tell you what it is, because the first time I watched it, I gave round 12 to Haney. Second time I watched it, I gave it round 12 to Haney. And I'll tell you what it is. And when you watch round 12, right after watching 10 into 11, and the crowd going crazy, I think it is not like Loma wasn't doing anything. I think that just, a lot of momentum was on Lomachenko's side, but when you watch it as a standalone round, I really think that's a Haney round.
I don't know. I'm gonna go back and watch it.
I thought it was a clear for Haney the second time I watched it, but I pulled up the Conky box. He threw more punches in round 12 than he did in round 11.
Lomachenko did.
Yeah.
But
So
did,
like, he
did he land more, Were they landed punches or just he threw more?
He landed 2 more punches. I don't really, like I said, I don't really trust Conky box, at least that much for the landings. But he threw 50 in round 11. Landed 20. He threw 55 in round 12. So it wasn't that he wasn't busy or.
Well, and I think the difference is, I don't know if you have it there, Dan, but I think the issue was, and I'm doing this off the top of my head, I think fucking Haney landed like 2 punches in round 11. So it wasn't like that Loma did, like, hey, if he had such a dominant round, it was more what Haney did. And Haney was busier
round 11.
Round 12.
Round 11, he landed 2 punches, 2 of 28.
2
that was
punches,
terrible.
Haney. So when you land 2 punches, then how many did Loma land?
20.
20. It's just, that's like fucking crazy, right? And then Loma landed 13 to 11, right? In round 12.
Yeah.
But I think it just goes back to like, what kind of punches was he landing? Were they, cleaner, harder? You know what I mean?
It's weird for me because at the 12th round, like I had Loma ahead. Sometimes I throw a pity round and go the other one to make it more interesting. But I still give it Loma. So now I'm interested. I want to go watch it. At first you were kind of convinced that maybe he wasn't. Maybe I kind of like dozed off. But now you throw the number that he was busier in the 11. Now I know you said you said the judges had it for Haney in round 12.
Haney, yeah, I don't know if you could pull up the scorecard of that. Like
that
you
was,
just type in scorecard.
Figure that up. What did those judges score 10-11 to whom?
So the thing that fucked everything up, this moron, the one that scored it really ahead of Haney, he gave round 10 to Haney. and that's not that's a Lomachenko round. Now some people like say that it could go either way, but no, so all three judges for round 10, two of them gave it to Lomachenko, and one of them gave it to Haney, which I think is pretty ridiculous. Was that?
In the 11th round, was that Loma? Or?
Yeah, the 11th round was all three judges gave it to Loma. Then all three judges gave the 12th to Haney. So the one that Teddy Atlas, was going crazy. He's so crazy. He has a podcast, and he hates that judge because he gave round 10, Teddy Atlas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I heard.
He gave it, and he cracks me up because he's an old timer. Oh, you got it done?
I found
he's a good old timer.
He is. So look, if you look, I think round 12, I think all of them gave it to Haney.
They did.
I can't really see,
Oh,
and then I think all of them gave it to Loma round 11, and round 10 is where one of them, I don't know what he was watching. He fucking gave it to Haney, and round 10 is a Lomachenko round.
Yeah, I think so.
So that's the one that Teddy, and he cracks me up. Teddy Atlas, he has a podcast. He put together a petition so that they could, like, I don't know, fire the judge or investigate him or something like that. He wanted all these people to sign it, and he cracks me up because he talks like he gets all excited. He's like, and I'm tired. He goes, I'm tired. I'm tired of yelling, but it's fast to stop. And he starts going into like, I just can't. Because this guy puts his guts on the line and just taken away from. I'm like, holy shit. Like,
you know what? Because he understands what the fighters go through,
There you go. That's where he gets pissed. And I can't take it anymore. But yeah, so
He
I don't know, man.
He had it tied after 6, and the other guys had it for Haney. But then, the later rounds, which usually is when Loma gets better.
And that's a confusing judge. He also judged the Tank Davis Ryan Garcia fight, and that ended in TKO, right? But there was a round where I don't know what round it is. But the round that Tank Davis knocked down Garcia the first time. Remember when he countered his ass and he dropped him the first time? Maybe it was like round 2 or something like that. The fucking guy scored a 10-10, which I don't even understand. That was on his official scorecard, and Tank dropped him, So usually when you drop a guy, when you knock down a guy,
minus
10-8, 10-8 round,
Yeah.
He gave it 10-10, which is very, so I think Teddy's onto something. They should fucking enter. Like, what the fuck are you doing,
I thought this was very interesting. When Sal, when you were going at the beginning, you and I were like basically the same, and then it just went off.
Where was the differences for us? Because we had a lot then, right? We all had the same. Oh no, round 1, you guys both gave it to Lomachenko.
Probably.
Lomachenko, the 4th round. I think I circled the 4th round. I gave Lomachenko. I think one or both of you guys gave it to Haney.
What about the judges there then? Did they give round 1? Did they all give it to Haney, or did they split it?
I think they all gave it to the same person, but let me see. 10, they all gave it to Haney.
To Haney.
Which
Okay.
one?
Round 1.
Yeah, round 1 they all gave it to Haney. Round 2.
That one. Well, I was kind of bothered. Honestly, at the end, I'm like, how the fuck did I score 8-4? But like, whatever. That was a rush to watch it before to get it in. And because everybody was getting so close, kind of either way, someone got wrapped. But then you got Paulie. Paulie's my guy, man. I kind of agree with him. Like, it's not most all the time. And so he's a scumbag. I haven't 8 now I feel more comfortable. I 8-4. I rewatch it. You guys already watched the second time. I don't need. Maybe I could rewatch it the second time myself with better quality. And and just give my 2 cents. It doesn't mean that I'm right or like always final say so, but just like made him of a man. 84 is a lot, especially the last 3 rounds. Okay, I forgot. You guys gave it to Haney the last round or last 12 round?
12th round, I gave it to Haney.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I was certain 10, 11, 12. I think 8, 10, 11, 12, and like that's 4 fucking rounds right there. Like you need to tell me he was 3 more rounds before that or no, but whatever. I mean, like I said, I watch it just for just for the fun of it, and I'll let you know if I change anything. I'm not gonna ask you guys to do it again.
Well, we were
anymore. Anything else you guys want to add before?
The last thing was the Molly. I can't pronounce this guy's name. Paulie. So he was upset. So he went on to say that anybody who gave Haney 7 rounds, which I did, including the swing rounds, of which there were many, is a dirt scumbag who was rooting for the champion. Is that he pointed out that the live betting lines during the main event saw Lomachenko switch from underdog to favorite come the final round. Believing the punter's picks tells the story well enough.
Okay,
so that's where he was coming from. So until the final round, yeah. So Paulie, scored it for Loma. Obviously, he doesn't give a score here, so I guess he was just watching it. But and then he just pointing about the betting lines during the main event. And maybe I did dismiss that because I'm like, who's betting on it? It's the people that are watching it, which are just regular fans, right? Like regular fans. And I think that was a tough fight to score live. I really think so. And, I'm sorry, man. I think that does influence a lot, unfortunately. Commentators and crowd reaction. It was very pro Loma, the crowd reaction. If Haney did something good, it didn't get the same response as Loma. And Tim Bradley was just like ridiculous in how much he was like going crazy for Lomachenko. Luckily, Andre Ward would check him now and then because Tim Bradley would be like, oh, here it comes. He's setting it up. And there it is. So it just makes it look like, fuck, Lomachenko is just like, has this so figured out. And then fucking Andre Ward would like whisper in, like, and he got countered. And Haney countered it. And yeah, he did. Good body shot, but Loma's, he has it, and supposedly Tim Bradley then went and rewatched the fight and gave it to Haney.
Well, that's what I'm saying, man. He made this seem like Loma was in complete control. So if you're watching the fight and you're listening to Tim Bradley talking about how Haney told his corner that Loma knows exactly what I'm doing. And, he was just, he's setting it up, he's going to go on a flurry and blah, blah. If it wasn't until the last round, all that stuff influences you. And the fact that he had great 10 and 11 rounds. Like all that influences like, oh, fuck, Tim Bradley saying this guy's got it all figured out. I don't remember what Max Cattleman's scorecard looked like. But the crowd, the commentators, the last 2 rounds, I could see why people went in there and started betting for Loma. But I mean, for Paulie to say that anybody that scored the swing rounds for Haney, I mean, I think all of us scored some of the swing rounds for Haney and some of them for Loma. We just had different little criteria.
Yeah, he was just very adamant. He says, I think you're really generous, you could score it a draw. I think anything more than a draw, you're a scumbag. So that's his thing, right? He's very like, unfiltered, right? He's just gonna say whatever comes to it. But I'm kind of with Sal. I do respect. I don't think he just talks out of his ass. I think he's a pretty. He was watching it live. I'm curious to see if he would rewatched it and he still thinks it's the same. But I don't think it was a robbery. I think I wouldn't argue with somebody that gives the fight to Lomachenko. You know what I mean? I just thought it was an excellent boxing fight, and man, the thing that's fucking crazy, Haney's 24 years old, man. This guy's an undisputed champion. He's beaten Lomachenko. He went to Australia twice to beat Kambosos for the undisputed. Like this guy, he's a superstar. And I think that I selfishly, and I don't know, I don't think it'll happen. It doesn't sound like they're gonna do it. I would love for Haney to rematch Lomachenko and avenge his controversial win. You know what I mean? I think that would really cement it for him. But nowadays, man, when's the last time you see rematch trilogies? It's like far and in between. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like he just might move on to other things, but I would love to see a rematch.
I know we gotta move on because we do want to talk about the. I assume Sal, I know you're leading it. We want to talk about the NBA Finals and some other stuff. But just yes or no, is Lomachenko a Hall of Famer?
Ooh. Where's the Hall of Famer? I mean, I gotta go back and check out his resume.
He's
I don't wanna
17.
say no.
He's 17-3.
In 17-3 and
His record 17-3 as a professional. We
ooh,
can move on. I just yes or
No,
no.
that's a great question.
my answer's already no already. But and now that I hear the record, I don't think that's enough, man. I mean, might as well count Draymond Green as a Hall of Famer, Yeah.
I think it's a shame because I think he's a very high IQ. He's a phenomenal boxer. He's just older, right? But I don't think he is. You know what I mean? I mean, I think he won his world championship like in a second fight or something like that, and he's a very accomplished amateur. But if you take that name away and you put in some random name and just his resume and his record, I mean, I don't think anybody looks at that and says, "Oh yeah, that guy should be in the Hall of Fame for boxing." I think people like him. He's an excellent boxer, elite boxer, but he just doesn't have the resume, I don't think, to be in there.
Yeah, he joined too late. He was an amateur too much. All right, so
Yeah.
keep us going. Keep us going.
Man, we got so much time and it's getting late, so let's just wrap it up with the NBA Finals. So we just tomorrow's game 4 and Denver just walked into Miami and pretty easily took control of game 3. I don't think Miami didn't have much of a fight. What are your thoughts now? Are you still confident with the Nuggets pick or
So you picked the Nuggets. Luis picked the Heat.
Yeah. So who did you pick of that?
I'm not. I'm not saying anything. I'm not jinxing myself. They just took back. They just took back home court. So if the Heat win Game 4, it's 2-2, and we have a 3-game series with the Nuggets having 2 of them at home. But that's really all they did. 8-piece set of the night.
Already?
There was a lot of them. Okay, I mean, if you guys were watching the game, so again, I'm not saying the Nuggets are gonna win. I'm not picking. I'm just saying they just took back control. But Jokic joined Tim Duncan and LeBron James as the only players to have at least 10 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists in the first half of the finals. Only those 3 people have done it. Jokic.
How's that even possible? 10 and 5, that's it? And there's only 3 fucking people?
Yeah.
10 and 5. 10 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists.
10 rebounds and
Minimum,
5 assists
in
one half. In one half.
In the finals, yeah. Only 3 people have
The
done
half
it.
of the game, or are we talking about the average? Or
No, at least 10 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists in the first half. At least. I mean, you could have 20, 12, and 6 or whatever it is, but at least 10, 10, and 5.
10 and 5.
Then Jokic became the only player ever in the finals with a 30, 20, 10 game. That's pretty amazing. Jokic and Murray became the first teammates ever to have 2 30-point triple doubles. This is ever. No regular season game, Kawhi and Paul George or Pippen and Jordan. Nobody has ever done it. 2 teammates that scored 30 points and had a triple double. Just a really quick comparison. Shaq and Kobe in the finals, their best game combined they had 59 points, 28 rebounds, 15 assists. Pretty fucking good, right? Jokic and Murray, they had 66 points, 31 rebounds, 10 assists. All right. Who's that?
Damn, that's pretty good,
There was
man.
another one too. It was like Bart, Chamberlain. I think it's something like the most 30-point, 20 rebound, triple doubles. I think I don't know if it's
I think
that
he
the way it
passed
comes?
I think he passed that before though, right? Like I think he just like adding up on that record.
I think in NBA Finals history, I think he's at 3 or something like that, no? And I think the Chamberlain and Kareem are the only ones, the other two with 1, and you got 3. I don't know, it was something like that. So
But I think it was in the playoffs.
Like in bikini pictures and stuff.
Wow.
You're still good with the Heat, Luis?
Yeah, I got to roll with the Heat. It doesn't look good, guys. They're like a wounded animal. You know what I mean? Stumbling across the finish line.
Are you kidding
They
me?
first game, I think you said it, Sal. The key word, easily. They Denver game 1 beat the Heat pretty easily. I think the Heat fought in game 2 and stole it game 2, but it was also a lot that Denver, they were even talking about it, that they didn't have the urgency, they didn't have the energy, right? And then game 3, they went in there with Miami having all the momentum into Miami and very easily, handled business. So, I think for the first time, I think Miami looks a little defeated. It's only 3 games in. I'm hoping that they win tomorrow, just so it could be a competitive series, because if that's it, man, if they lose tomorrow, that's a wrap, right? Pretty much. I mean, it already looks like a wrap, but if Miami's able to pull it off tomorrow, then we got a pretty competitive. What did you say, Dan? It's then it turns into a 3-game series,
series.
So the last thing I wanted to close with, and I wanted to get your feedback on, guys, this is the most I've seen Jokic play, right? And I am not the biggest Jokic fan when I watch him. I can't say he's like one of my favorite players, I think he's very efficient. I think he's a very cerebral, efficient player. I don't get how he racks up, those stats. I don't get it. Maybe that's part of his deal, that he's just not flashy. He's just, but I mean, this guy's 2-time MVP, right? Let's say, if they win it, let's say he gets NBA champion, he's going to be finals MVP, most likely. I think they'll give it to him instead of Murray. I mean, what do you guys, okay, after, when Giannis went on a run like this, everybody kind of crowned him the face of the NBA, right? With LeBron, everybody's always thinking after once LeBron retires, right? So what do you guys think? If the Denver Nuggets win and Jokic gets, those other accolades, the finals MVP to his resume, I mean, is he the guy? Is he the face of the NBA? Like, what does that mean? Is he the number 1 player in the NBA to you guys?
Number 1, does anyone say it? Is he number 1 player in the game? I mean, I can deny it. I mean, it's hard to argue that.
Right.
I might not agree with it, but if somebody makes an argument, I'm not going to get mad, upset. I think LeBron's still the best in the world. In the world. I mean, I don't know. He's put up crazy numbers. I don't get it. You brought up, I don't get how he's doing it either. I don't think it's sustainable, to be honest. I'm not trying to hate on the guy. I think he gets way too many rebounds than he should. He's not jumping everybody. He gets away with a lot of pushing off. I've seen a few times. Maybe I'm gonna go back. So now I'm watching him more, than I have in the past. It's not that the minute he loses an inch off his vertical, like he's pretty much done. He's not gonna be a threat in the post. Give him an inch or two, and maybe he gets older. Like he's not the best in shape. Once he puts a little bit, he does gain some kind of weight. And I don't know tell you right now. His numbers are gonna drop off. Those a lot of those, he does get away with a lot of bullying down low. But whatever, it is what it is. As far as the series, I don't think it's over. I really don't. You got one away. It wasn't a fluke. Game 2 was not a fluke. You guys play well at home. I think Eric and Butler are gonna make it competitive. Are they gonna win? I don't know, but I think they have a good chance. I think they even it up, and it's gonna be a good best of 3. Not just because they both won each other's home court, so it's gonna be like a true best of 3. Who wins? Does Miami win one at Denver? I don't know. But, I guess it's just they do have a side Nuggets, but like I said, I just can't count Butler. They said they're here for a reason, I mean,
Yeah.
it's interesting. It's gonna be weird because I think who knows, right? I haven't done, I've never looked up, but it seems like the Heat are gonna have the toughest road to the finals. To get played in. They beat an 8 seed. I mean, I'm sorry,
A 1.
they beat 1 seed, a 2 seed, and then the next in between, and then they're going up against the number 1 seed. Where I think the Nuggets probably have probably the easiest route to the finals, where they're going through
8 seed.
seed.
Phoenix was like a 4, I think, maybe.
Yeah, 4 seed, and now they're playing in the finals against an 8 seed.
Right.
So man, I think, man, I'm gonna be honest. I don't pick the Nuggets, but I'm rooting for the Heat. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think every time everybody has just pretty much counted the Heat off, they always come back and win. Giannis comes back and they're like, "Oh, that's it." Bucks are gonna get rid of these guys. They won. The Celtics win 3 in a row, force Game 7. Like Celtics have all the momentum. That's it. He done. Come back and win that. So I wouldn't be surprised because everybody now is saying that it's over because the Nuggets made it look easy and Jokic and Murray look so good. It's not over because every time this happens to the Heat, they came back. Just really quick, the Knicks back in '99, I think, they were the 8th seed. They also beat the number 1. They beat the number 4 instead of the number 5. They beat the number 2, and then they lost against the number 1 Spurs. But if they would have won, they would have had the toughest road to a championship. Now, if the Heat win, then they're definitely the toughest road. So I give them a really good chance of even in the series, and then we'll see from there. I agree. I think Spoelstra and Riley are great at coming up with counters. You could see some of the what they were doing. They were doubling Murray up high, and then they were running at Jokic because there's their little thing, right? Like they'll give it to Jokic and then Jokic. So they took that away. We'll see what Malone does to adjust.
Yeah, my concern with Miami is their 3-point shooting has been really spotty the last couple of games from some of their, Jimmy doesn't want to call them role players, but role players, Vincent, Caleb, and what's this other name? Strauss. Yeah, I think
Robinson. They got Robinson.
because at least one of them will go 0 for 6, 1 for 6. You know what I mean? And 3-point shooting the last 2 games.
I forgot to answer about your Jokic, about Jokic being the best. I think I would say that Giannis is the best.
Mm-hmm.
But still, if somebody makes the argument that it's Jokic because of his accomplishments and his efficiency, I don't think I would fight him that hard either. But Jokic, I think there was a stat about Jokic this postseason versus Giannis in 2021 through 2023 playoffs, and they're basically the same in scoring and rebounds. Jokic has him doubles him up in assists, and then almost the same in field goal percentage. But Giannis is by far the better defender. So you can make the argument that Jokic is the better playmaker and cerebral guy on offense because he could do everything. But Giannis is better defensively. And I don't know if you guys remember, back in the bubble against the Clippers, they were down 3-1. And we talked about this just randomly. And I told you guys Jokic just makes it look so easy. Like they came back from 3-1 and he was just destroying the Clippers, and it looked like he wasn't even trying in the last 3 games. And he's just continued that. He just, I know, so you're saying if he loses an inch, like, I don't even know if he needs to jump. Like, he's just so crafty. But he's definitely up there. He's definitely like Giannis, Jokic, Embiid is somewhere in the conversation.
I just think it's interesting because as a basketball fan, before, when LeBron was in his prime, like he was the guy, right? And then as LeBron wasn't even done, but as soon as somebody else could start getting into the conversation, people were talking about, in the NBA, Anthony Davis was going to be, you know what I mean? Maybe the next, like the guy of the NBA, right? Like the next, LeBron will pass the torch off to him, right? But with injuries, and now I'm super confused because I'm with you, Adon. I think that's a really good point. Like I'm like it's Giannis still, right? But man, Embiid's in the picture. Jokic, like I can't keep ignoring this fucking guy. You know what I mean? Especially if he wins a title and just keeps winning these accolades and leading his team to #1 seeds and and I don't know if Luka Doncic. I know he had a stretch there where but he hasn't been able to make a lot of noise in the playoffs. So I don't know. I'm just really conflicted because it's hard to keep ignoring this guy. His stats are crazy. Watching him play, he's a very efficient player. But I'm gonna start paying attention to him, Sal. I gotta see him down low if he's, playing dirty.
You guys find him boring?
I find him boring as fuck.
You do? Man, I enjoy watching him play. He just makes it look so simple.
I don't think I enjoy it. He's kind of funny. He look crafty.
He reminds me of a guy from like the YMCA, like this old timer that just that he knows. Like it's impressive. Like he anticipates. Like he knows what he's doing. He's just like and but it's not entertaining. So that's not fair. I don't find him entertaining. But he's very efficient.
He's doing that against the best players in the world.
I know. No, you're right. You're right.
Like I don't really, I can't figure out how he does it. Somebody said, I just don't understand. Maybe an inch or two, and then loses a step. Like it's not fast. Like I don't think he could keep this like long term. I just don't. Like, and I kind of feel confident. I'm not hating the guy. I look at his body type and stuff like that. Kind of the same thing when Zion was coming in. As great he was, I'm like, man, I found him in high school. I'm like, that's good. And then I found him, and when he was Duke, I'm like, shit, this guy's putting on too much weight. Like, I thought he was going to play guard or swing. Like, not going to be power forward. I do, like, when you're 18, 19, you're too big. Man, fucking, like, your metabolism should be, like, kind of shredding, all the fat off. You're burning the calories. You can't be this heavy at such an age. Same thing when I see Jokic, like his body type, and he's not that fast. He's clever, he's smart, but the minute he loses an inch or two of his vertical, and he's not that. He's not even that quick to do. Like,
what did you say? Who did you say he reminded you of? I missed it.
That reminds me of, but I'm saying, like, I look at body type, like say like Zion.
Oh, like Zion. Okay.
Oh.
Like I remember these guys like this guy just like fuck. I'm not a fucking scientist or a doctor or anything, but like when you're 19, 20, you should be like fucking pretty lean, like you come in bulky.
He did.
He's not bulky, like he's a big man, but the vertical, like I just don't seeing that. I enjoy what he can. Maybe this year, another year, maybe after that, and then after that, drop off.
He could be like Sabonis, right? I think we kind of mentioned that, Luis. Like, if Sabonis had come in the league when he was younger, because they said that guy could do everything too. He was a great passer, rebounder, shooter, and he came in when he was older, but he was still like really efficient. He was just
efficient,
older. I don't know if you guys saw. I think Damian Lillard, because people were saying something like what you're saying, Sal, about like, that guy, he's not even in shape and whatever. And I'm not gonna quote him exactly what he said, but I think he said something like, "You're confusing body shape for being physically fit." he says Jokic might not look good, but he's definitely fit. He's like, that guy plays in Denver. He says when he goes and plays in Denver, like after, the first 6 minutes or less of the first quarter, he needs a breather. And he's like, and I'm in shape. They put it on one of the shows. Damien just like, supporting.
You're fit, you're playing,
But that's
so many
the thing,
home games.
being in shape and being fit are two different.
Physical ability, Like you can be in shape. Like, I'm just talking about explosiveness, which he doesn't have any. Like I don't. I just think it's short-term success. Enjoy what you can. Enjoy the finals. I think after that, it's just. I just don't. I mean, me personally, I
don't even. He has slimmed down. Remember, that was his thing that he had slimmed down over the last couple seasons. But I get what you're saying. He's just, I don't know. I don't get it, and I think part of me, maybe I'm hating on the guy. But I don't know. I just him and Luka. I don't know. Maybe something's. I don't get. I don't know how they. Maybe I have to just watch them play and just enjoy them making plays. And I think I just don't get it when I watch a whole game and then the guy has 30, 20, and 10. I feel like some players, when they do like 25 and 12 and 11, it's like you see them everywhere and jumping everywhere and dunking everywhere. And it's just like, man, that guy kind of fuck like LeBron, who does the triple doubles. Like, man, fucking guy was everywhere. This guy had 30, 20, and I'm like, when the fuck did he get 20 rebounds? Like, I don't know. I don't. Maybe he just does it in a quiet way, so it's different. I haven't figured it out, but I don't know.
Tim Duncan, like maybe.
Hey, man. So that's that was Mr. Fundamentals, man. Right.
Top 5 ever, man. Fuck yourself. All right, man. I think it's getting kind of late, so let's kind of wrap it up real quick. I do want to give my shout out and Bookie pick of the week. We didn't touch on that, and I know we want to touch on the White Sox baseball, but my pick for this week, not for this week, it's going to be a little long-term bet, is the White Sox win the division.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, shit.
White Sox win the division. Get them at plus 700 right now. I'm kind of mad at myself because around a couple of weeks ago, I was thinking about it, and they're getting healthy, and they were plus 1,300.
Oh.
And I didn't make that bet because I was out boozing with my friends celebrating someone's birthday. And then a couple of days I thought about it, I looked at it, and they were plus 1,100. I'm like, let me wait to see if they lose a couple games and it goes back to 1,300 or whatever. And after their latest success, they're down to plus 700. So we'll go over their schedule later. I think the division's not that great. I think it's a good, solid bet. So right here, you heard it first. Hey, I'll come eat my word, eat my crow later in the season. But right now, that's my pick. Throw a little money right there, Loma. If you got some your kids' communion or baptism money or birthday money, they're not gonna miss it. Hey, put it down the tablet. They're not gonna miss that. We have those 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks. White Sox division winners 2023 plus 700 right now.
Only 3.5. Only 3.5 away now.
Fuck, that's a good one. I might take you up on that, man.
Arguing with my friends, I think they were at the time they were like 8.5. Now this is like within a week. So
that's still a good bet. I think I might throw a flyer on that. That's pretty good. So, and then to wrap it up, se los aseguro, the thing to watch out this weekend, June 10th, is Teofimo Lopez return against Josh Taylor. It's for Josh Taylor's belt. Now it's not going to get the buzz that Haney, Loma, or Tank Ryan. So this is a sleeper. This is a sleeper pick. I think it's going to be probably a more exciting fight than those. It's not going to be as high IQ, but these guys don't fucking like each other. They're trying to knock each other out. So I think this is I think it's a good fight to check out if you like action, And now these bums better not go out there and go 12 rounds. You know what I mean? But I think Lopez is trying to put his name back on to make some big fights. So yeah, man, I think it's gonna be a brawl.
Who you got, Luis? Who you got?
I got Lopez. If he wins, I think he could win by a knockout. But if Josh Taylor wins, I think he'll go to decision. But it's been great. You know, they've been promoting the fight. Lopez is like he's an awesome villain. He just talks out of his ass. He's kind of belligerent, and his dad is the worst. And this guy is Scottish, I think, Josh Taylor. So it's great because their personalities don't mesh. You know, like Teofimo will be like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck you up, and the guy's like, what are you saying to me? Like, what are you basing that on? Like, and then he'll be like, that's what we do here. It's the takeover. And Josh Taylor was in the interview, and he was like, I'm gonna fucking leave. Like, I don't understand what you're even saying to me right now. This is the fucking joke. Like, you're a clown. Like, I'll see you June 10th. So I like it because they don't even mesh well. Like, Josh Taylor is all business. Like, he wants to talk about like, and Lopez is talking in like, who knows what the fuck he's saying, like trying to get in his head, trying to sell the fight. You know what I mean? And I think they don't like each other. Today they had to weigh in, and it was so dramatic that they couldn't even do a face-off. Security had to be in the middle because they were nervous that they were gonna do something to each other. So I think it should be an entertaining fight, man.
Yeah, I wanna catch it. I have no idea who Taylor is. I've never seen him fight, but undefeated, better record.
Undefeated. His last fight, you know, he wasn't the best showing, you know, but there's an opportunity for both of them, you know, to kind of get back on, put their stamps back on the weight division.
Check it out, everyone.
I'm gonna look at the man. They're only plus 140, man. Not great odds, but think about it. The Heat go on, and the Nuggets going like on a 7-0 run or whatever, and then the Heat drop to plus 300 or something like that. Man, jump on it. Throw the $5 on there, $10 on it. Because I said it's very doable. It's very doable.
You're saying on Miami?
And next
Yeah,
show,
Miami
Bookie
plus
plays-
140. Just wait to see if they go down early, you know, and then and
That's
then
a good one, man.
odds. I said just start money at Nuggets. You get them at plus 250, north of 250 or south or whatever. You know, be higher than 2. You know, jump on it. So, yeah. But anyways,
I like that, man.
Plus 700. That's a lot.
Real quick, I did that. Remember just what you said. I was watching Miami was down against Boston. I think maybe it was game 6. And I think I put $5 on Miami. And I think if they would have won, I don't know, I would have won $40, $50, $60, something like that.
Yeah.
And that's the one where the fucking they
White.
tipped in
Oh, at the tipping with the team. They didn't see.
But man, it took that. But otherwise, Miami would have, you know.
Yeah, no. If you this plays any sport in any game, you have you have a good feeling that you like it, but cold start, man. They start off slow and they're cold, and then I just go in favor, like, man, throw a little bit in the double down on those guys. You know, like it's just a run's happen, you know. So keep an eye on that one. But yeah, but for now, my lock, not lock, but I'm saying just go White Sox division winners plus 700. That's the one I'm going with. That's my pick.
I like that, man.
Could have got him higher. Keep an eye on that. Maybe lose 1 or 2, and then let's go to plus 800, maybe plus 900. Still jump on them.
Good shit.
Like it.
So, what do you got?
Can I give a little teaser before you sign us off? And then sign us off before Luis says any shit about LeBron James.
Oh, damn.
So, one thing to consider for the next episode, I was thinking about this, and I feel that everybody confuses greatest of all time with greatest career of all time instead of the greatest player of all time. That's all I'll say.
Well, just by curiosity, did you guys get to catch what Mario Chalmers,
We didn't catch anything. That's it. Sign us off.
ex-teammate of LeBron James? All right.
So that's it, baby. Upon further review, this was another fucking excellent episode. Thank you and our fans, whoever's watching. We'll see you guys next week. Until next Thursday, good night, everybody. Upon further review, the ruling on the field stands. This is the greatest sports podcast, First and Goat.